Hello and welcome back to Books with Carol Ann. Today we are going to talk about the trope marriage of convenience. I'm so excited for this because it is one of my favorites. So let's get started. The marriage of convenience trope, I think, only works in romance when both parties gain something from getting married. And I think that the examples I'm about to tell you are some of the best, or I may be biased because these are the ones I've read and I've adored. The first up is Ride With Me by Simone Soltani. So this one isn't actually out yet, so I'm very much teasing you guys with this one. This is the second book by Simone Soltani. The first one was Cross the Line, and they are both Formula One romances. Ride With Me is also a marriage of convenience. In it, we follow Stella, who was recently left at the altar, and on the back of that, had a very drunken social live where she was ranting about life, her ex-fiance, and just a lot of things that she shouldn't have been saying as a somewhat of a social media phenomenon. And then we have Thomas, a Formula One driver from the British Society, who may have said something that he 100% regrets, but unfortunately for him, has been captured and leaked onto the internet, and so everyone, and I mean absolutely everyone in the world hates him. Formula One fans, people who are not even Formula One fans, anyone who knows his name hates him. Maybe for good reason. What he said was kind of bad, but he didn't mean it, and it was in the heat of the moment. Stella and Thomas go to a bachelor party in Vegas and they hit it off right away. They're kind of avoiding the rest of the parties because they just do not feel like being social, and they kind of find that in each other as well. Unfortunately for them, by the end of the bachelor party, they end up married. Oops. Oopsie daisy. And even more unfortunate for them, there are photos taken of when they were slightly making out together before they got married, and there is also photos of them getting married. Oops. So they have a choice in the morning when they wake up completely hungover with rings on their fingers, and they have to decide whether or not they get an annulment or they continue being married. And they both decide that because of both of their social media outbreaks and PR fails recently, it's probably for the best if they don't have another one. And by another one would be a quickie divorce, not even 24 hours later. Because we all have seen how that works publicly. Not great. Because of that, they decide to stay married and hopefully regain some type of public approval. I absolutely adored this book from Simone Soltani. I was already a massive fan with Cross the Line. I'm not very much of a Formula fan, but she has made me one. I blame Simone for my FYP being full of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. There's just everywhere. And I absolutely adore her writing. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's quite funny. It's honestly perfect rom-coms. I thought that Ride With Me was exceptionally good. I inhaled that book and I just read it so quickly. Absolutely stamp of approval. Go read it as soon as it's out. Desire in His Blood is the next marriage of convenience that I want to talk to you about. It has aliens. It has vampire aliens. I mean, in this one, the female main character is in a mountain of debt because of her father, and the only solution is to accept the marriage proposal of a rich benefactor, stranger, unknown, but she sees no other solution in order to get out of debt. Unfortunately for her, The stranger unknown benefactor happens to be of the alien race Kalor. I'm not sure if you say that right. And they are the most fearsome, beastly alien races out there. They survive on blood. Sign me up. I don't actually remember why Azur from the Kylor wants or needs a wife, which makes me think I need to reread. But for now, all I'll say is that this book, I think this was this was actually my first sci-fi romance that I read. I'm literally blushing right now. This book was so good. And I actually, as soon as I finish this video, I currently have an advanced reader copy of the third one that was just delivered to my email. So I am very excited for this. I love this series, and yeah. Oof. That's all I'll say. The Last Minute First Lady by Tinya Montfort. In this one, we follow Jolie, who is a journalist who has built her career by digging up dirty congressmen and crooked political campaigns, and is currently building a case against a local congressman. Opposite her, we've got Cassian, an up-and-coming lawyer who has been building his reputation in order to run for office in Chicago. Unfortunately for him, he's always been a bachelor and goes on record to saying that he is currently engaged and about to get married to his fiancée that does not exist. Jolie happens to overhear this conversation, and obviously this is absolute gold for her, that is digging up as much dirt as possible as she can on this election. Cassian, however, decides that her talent would better be used as the First Lady and offers her a deal that she cannot refuse. I read this so long ago, and I have been absolutely dying and checking for Tinya to write another book because I absolutely adored this one. And I thought it was just so clever, and it was just, I absolutely adored it. It was great. I'll be honest, I don't remember a ton about this book, but what I do remember is that Jolie was just absolutely the type of journalist that you would want on your side and not against you. She is the type of woman and female main character that we love to see in rom-coms. She is a no bullshit woman. She does not take shit from anyone, and Cassian especially not. I am here for that, and I am here for her. The Co-op by Tara DeWitt. I've already talked about this in multiple videos. Another quick PSA, I have read the original published The Co-op and not the newly rewritten version that the US has. The new version, it will be out in the UK next month, I believe. But my review and my thoughts are based on the original one. However, I am absolutely certain that I will love the new version even more than I love this one. In the Co-op, we've got Lauren and Deacon, who have a past summer fling when they were teenagers that ended really badly. They do not like each other. Unfortunately for them, they inherited a shared ownership of a building. Lauren has the money in order to restore the house. Deacon has the construction expertise. Unfortunately though, Lauren needs to get married in order to access the trust that has her money. Deacon doesn't have the money, and so the only solution that they find is to have a quickie wedding and get the house back in order before they can sell it and finally be out of each other's lives. It doesn't work that well though, does it? They also have some forced proximity in this book because they both live in the house that needs renovation, and there are no walls in this house. So things get a little awkward. Of course, with Tara's writing and all of Tara's books, this is very funny. It's absolutely hilarious. The characters are just so well thought out, like they always are with Tara, and I absolutely adored this book so much. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. If you haven't seen, I did a whole video on Ali and her books, and obviously I talk about Bride in them, but I also talk about all her other books. In Bride, we follow Misery, a vampire, and Lo, a werewolf, who, in order to uphold a lifelong peacekeeping alliance, they are required to get married. And so Misery goes to live in enemy territory in werewolf land. And she does not have a great time, and she is absolutely certain that Lo hates her guts, which makes it a bit difficult for a wedding to work. But hey ho, she doesn't really have a choice because her father doesn't really like her that much. I mean, they named her Misery. Yikes. I absolutely love this one. I thought it was very much the standard Ali books, which is the reason we all love her so much. And this just added a bit of paranormal. It introduced me to knotting, which I will not go about in this because my family follow my YouTube. And yeah, all I will say, and I have said multiple times in other videos, there is not a single amount of animal and human sex in this. All intercourse happens between two human people. You're welcome. Enjoy. Anna Maria and the Fox. This is a historical romance where the female main character, Anna Maria, seeks refuge in England because of the French occupation of Mexico in the 1700s. I'm not actually sure. 1863. There we go. As you can imagine, in 1863 or 2025, the British are not very sympathetic to someone who doesn't look like them. Anna Maria and her two other sisters have to ensure that the British are sympathetic to the Mexican cause and are asked by their father to not cause any waves and to remain unseen and quiet as much as possible. Unfortunately for him, they decide to go to every ball and to go on every promenade walk and to, of course, be courted by all the single men available in London. Gideon is one of the first Black men in Parliament, and as you can imagine, is just as hard as 2025, where he finds a lot of reluctance and a lot of people are not happy with him being there and gaining the status that he has. Gideon Fox is absolutely distracted by Anna Maria from the get-go, just finds her absolutely charming, realizes that she has conversation and brains and absolutely loves the same things that he does. Unfortunately for her, she doesn't realize that Gideon is actually interested in her because Gideon has just a one-track mind of making sure that the Parliament has his priority and making sure that he's able to help with the slave boats that come from Africa, and he has no time for a relationship. However, when trouble arrives and Anna Maria requires a husband in order to save herself and her sisters, Gideon volunteers from the get-go with no hesitation at all. I absolutely adore this book. This is the first book of a trilogy of 3 historical romances where we follow the 3 sisters from Mexico. I actually read this out of order and read the second book first, and still understood everything, but I loved it so much that I had to go back and read this one, as this is the first one. I really recommend it to anyone, even if you don't like historical romance, but honestly, why wouldn't you? They're amazing. This is definitely one that you should not miss out on. Marriage for One. This is actually the first ever marriage convenience that I read, and I absolutely adored it. I don't know if you can see, but I have it all tabbed. I've reread this a couple times now. I absolutely adored it. The couple in this is called Jack and Rose, like the Titanic. I love this. This is obviously a marriage of convenience, but it's also a billionaire romance. And God, it's so cute. In this, Rose has always had a dream of opening up her own coffee shop, and she was so close to getting that because in her uncle's will, she was due to receive a large amount of money that would help her gain the space that she had dreamt of forever. Unfortunately for her, when she gets to see the will, there's a clause that asks her to be married, and the building actually goes to her husband and not to her. Because she's a single woman, this just does not work out for her. Until the lawyer that is on the case and going through the will with her steps forward and offers to marry her as long as he can get the building in 3 years' time. For some reason, Rose says yes. I guess she's quite desperate to get her hands on that coffee shop space. And so they have a quickie wedding and get together. They actually move in together quite quickly as well, and she finds out that he is a complete billionaire, if it wasn't obvious from the get-go from meeting him. We see Rose get the coffee shop together, and as soon as it opens up, Jack is extremely supportive of her. He brings her fresh flowers every week. He comes in to have lunch even though it's nowhere near his office building, and he always makes sure that she has dinner and comes home quickly at the end of the day. He sends a chauffeur her way. There's just so many things that he does that are just so adorable, and you can see from the get-go that he has feelings for her and that he is just very protective of her. For me, it all comes really together. During the story, at some point, Rose becomes sick, and you have a lot of caretaking between Jack and Rose, and the way that he is absolutely so tender with her. At that point, they hadn't even consumed the marriage. They weren't even together, and it was just absolutely heartbreaking and gorgeous and beautiful, just the way that he takes care of her. And I absolutely adored it, and it definitely brought them together, and they are counting down the days until they're allowed to be together, if you know what I mean. I really loved this book. I thought it was just incredibly sweet and sexy, and yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone. I probably have a million more marriage of convenience recs that I could tell you, but I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, so we'll leave it at these. And if you would like a part 2 of Marriage of Convenience, let me know and I will definitely make one. If you have any recommendations for me that you think I might not have read, please let me know in the comments. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.